Welcome, Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 3 of Better Call Saul. I don't always make videos about later seasons of a show because at some point you're kind of saying the same things, you know? The things you like about the show stay pretty much the same. That's why, for example, I didn't make a video about Season 4 of The Americans, which was really good and I liked it. I liked it for a lot of the same reasons I did Season 3. But so far, every season of Better Call Saul is so different. I loved Season 1. It was a mix of the novelty of seeing this character we already knew from Breaking Bad in a totally different setting. Season 2 was great, but I felt it was a bit low stakes and it didn't really capitalize on the momentum Season 1 had built, and Season 3 is something else entirely. First of all, this is the Breaking Baddiest season of Better Call Saul so far. You can watch this show as either a story about Jimmy McGill or the origin story of Saul Goodman. In Seasons 1 and 2, they didn't really rely on Breaking Bad all that much. Season 3 is going to be a very different experience for you if you didn't watch Breaking Bad. It's not like Walter White is in this season, and it's not even like this season ends with Jimmy taking big steps towards Saul Goodman. But there is Breaking Bad fan service in this season, and it's subtle and not subtle at the same time. That's not a bad thing. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of Breaking Bad. I just will say that I feel that this season was designed to be enjoyed by people who also watched Breaking Bad, more so than other seasons of Better Call Saul. Having said all of that, this was probably my favorite season of Better Call Saul. A part of that is due to the fact that I can't really help but watch this as an origin story. And I do wish they would have pushed Jimmy even further this season towards his transformation into Saul Goodman. I feel that if the next season doesn't really have some Saul Goodman stuff, not just glimpses, they'll be stretching it a bit too far. Something big has to happen. The thing that means that Jimmy McGill has to die and Saul Goodman has to go work at Cinnabon. Cinnabon? Cinnabon? I don't know. They don't have that in Israel. I'm sure they have it all planned out. I just hope they don't stretch it too thin. So Season 3 is probably the most fast-paced season of this show. It largely builds on top of the stories we already know. The Sandpiper case, the weird relationship between Jimmy and Chuck, everything that goes on at HHM, Kim's thing with Mesa Verde, and her relationship with Jimmy. But my favorite stories, though, were the ones about Mike and Nacho. I love Nacho's character. I love how he started out as a thug, just one more of the quote-unquote bad guys, and we learn how clever he is, and then we get to explore him a bit more and learn how human he is. I love that. His story was fascinating, and he fits so well into this world that I was sure I remembered him from Breaking Bad, but he wasn't in Breaking Bad, and I'm sure that now some of you are also going like, oh shit. So I feel that with Season 3, this show really finds its rhythm. There's no doubt that these are master filmmakers, and everything I said in previous videos about how good this show looks holds true here, so I'm not gonna go into that, but the pacing in this season just feels right. I do still wish we would have gotten some more Mike, though. Mike's story just sort of fades away by the end of this season. We do get an important moment, an important introduction. You know what? Let's just get into spoilers. This is Season 3, so spoilers ahead. So, we get the super important introduction between Gus Fring and Mike, and we even go back to Madrigal, which I loved, which is part of that Breaking Bad fan service. But then in the last few episodes of the season, we don't really get enough Mike. I mean, I do like that Chuck and Jimmy's story pretty much gets resolved, and we'll see if Chuck survives that fire, and I kinda hope he doesn't. And the Sandpiper story also gets resolved, and I know that that story was important to build who Jimmy is, and it provides a lot of really fun moments. It just felt like a very low stakes story. I mean, I would have been fine with it if they wrapped it up last season. But back to Chuck and Jimmy for a minute. Episode 5, when they face off in court, has to be one of my favorite courtroom episodes of all time. First of all, like 90% of that episode takes place in that room, and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. It's one of those things that instead of having other characters say how Jimmy is a master manipulator, we get to actually see him in action and it's glorious. I think it was just masterful storytelling. I also like that Fring was kind of in the background of this season. He wasn't really the focus of any one particular story, and the way he was introduced made a lot of sense to me. If he would have gotten too much of the spotlight, I think it would have been too much Breaking Bad fan service, you know? But it was just right. I mean, this show feels like almost every single character deserves their own spin-off show. That just shows you how strong these characters are. So bottom line is that you've watched it, and I hope you loved it. I did. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, in the description, you'll find a link to download the TV Time app, which is the app I use to track the shows I'm watching, and you can do short video reactions to episodes. It's really cool. This video is not sponsored by them, but if you do use that link in the description to check out the app, it does support the channel. The app is free, I just want to be completely transparent about that. Look for binge watchers on there and you'll find me. If you're going to be talking about spoilers, please use spoiler tags in your comments, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're finding binge watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the binge watchers community. Come talk about TV with us, it's a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel, but in any case, keep binging. And I will see you next time. Didn't think of anything clever to say.